What's number
Yeah,
five
my
for
number
you?
5. I have to assume you can call it a podcast.
Nerd podcast. I shouldn't be negative. That's your thing. Stupidest thing ever.
God, that guy.
Well, he's always pushed the limit.
Not number 1. Number 1. Welcome back to the Southern Pickleball Podcast. As always, I'm everyone's favorite 4-4 duper Corin. I'm here with my co-host and co-founder of Southern Pickleball, Mark Spackman. On today's episode, we are talking about our favorite pickleball podcast, other than our own, but all our other favorite pickleball podcasts and what makes them so great. Before we jump into the action, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, thank you to our sponsors, Head Pickleball, a favorite of Southern Pickleball and its players all across the country. Diadem Sports, the official pickleball of Southern Pickleball and of the world, and the only ball you want to play with. And Mizuno Pickleball, the shoe that's helping us grow the game on and off the courts. So, Mark, you are what I consider not just a podcast junkie, because you are a podcast junkie, but you are a pickleball podcast junkie. It's like you know them all. We kind of knew we were going to do this, and all of a sudden you're naming off 50 of them, and you knew them all. And you kind of even know the ones that didn't make it. They kind of, went under the radar or just quit posting. But I thought it was interesting because I think the people are going to find out later, we actually did have the same top 2. Some of the other, because we're going to do kind of
We did,
top
so
5.
hang around to get to that because the 2 were good. I spend a lot of time in the car and stuff, Corin. We're doing tournaments all around the Southeast, so a lot of times I like to pass some time listening to a podcast, in the car along the way. There's some good ones and bad ones out there, but I don't know that I would say that I'm even any super connoisseur or anything. But the thing I did, the way I found most of them, I would Google. I just top pickleball podcasts, and I started thinking about, I'm not full enough to think that we're one of the top pickleball podcasts yet that everybody should listen to, but there are some really good ones out there.
Yeah.
And so I thought, well, hey, let's give them some love, let some people know where if they get bored with this, that they can go listen to something a little bit better. But before they do that, make sure they subscribe and everything here.
Yeah, like, comment, subscribe. Just give me some of your honorable mentions. We're gonna get into our kind of top 5, but you have any? You have any guys that didn't make the
some
list,
that sort of missed the cut for me, Travis Retmeyer, I'm not a fan of that guy. Even though Donald Young came on and said he's the greatest, nicest guy ever, and I'm sure he is, but he had what was called the Tennis Sucks podcast. They changed the name to Bad Calls podcast, so it's now under Bad Call. Yeah, I thought Bad Calls, since he was the one that admittedly made the bad call, hooked his opponent. Yeah. So that was one. I think the thing that is interesting that Travis brings to the podcast is that he is both, an owner of a MLP team and he's a player.
Right.
So he can sort of bring both sides. But the other thing, they do the podcast while people are playing in the background, and you got just a ball just hitting over and over. Stupidest thing ever. So, why would we have somebody hitting a pickleball? There's lawsuits all across the country right now because of pickleball noise, and then they try to record a podcast with the pickleball going in the background. That's as dumb as calling a ball out intentionally. So I would nix that one, but it was an honorable mention. Maybe because I just wanted to talk about Travis for a minute. So
yeah, this show is kind of like the Jeannie Bouchard and Travis Retmeyer smear show.
I've never said anything negative about Jeannie Bouchard. I'm a fan. But the
go back and watch every episode before this, and you'll know that is not true.
Oh, did I say something negative? I forgot. Another one that disappeared. It's not around anymore, but was the Drop.
Oh yeah.
And that was Dylan Frazier and Anna Bright together. It was interesting because, and it was funny because that was when Anna was dating Ignatowicz, and James was always sort of lingering around in the background, and you occasionally hear it kind of almost felt like it might have sort of been like, what we would have had a few months ago, like John May and Paris Todd doing a podcast with Hunter Johnson sort of hanging around in the background or something. But I always thought, they had a good thing. Never felt like Dylan was really completely into it, but I always thought it was really, that was when they were just starting to ascend and the tour wars and everything. So that was really interesting. But that was one that I was interested in. Another one I really liked was Rob Nunnery and Adam Stone, It Feels Right. It's no longer out there, or at least doesn't have a a current episode, but Adam Stone just has a great perspective.
Yeah.
He's still an announcer sometimes on PPA. So I like that one. Rob Nunnery's got an interesting tale, a very interesting relationship with the world's number one player.
Oh,
so,
yeah, and I bet it didn't feel right.
Yeah. So, that's just, I don't know. I just got Nunnery. The other thing that Nunnery did at one time was he was doing a thing where he was going around. It was almost like, the Guy Fieri, like diners, drive-in, and dives, but he was going around to like different pickleball facilities and stuff. I think he was doing that for Selkirk TV. That was really cool. So those were some just misses. Educational thing, like how to get better, 4.0 to pro.
Wait. Didn't that guy actually, no, we won't get into it, but something
I don't
interesting
know
about that guy, I guess.
Yeah, there's yeah.
Hey, he's a great coach.
Yeah.
Awesome coach.
Bring your own water. Make sure it's sealed. But yeah, I mean that is some good educational content there in that one. So I don't know. So those were my misses. Why don't we get in? What's your? I mean, I know we agree on the top two. So what's your number 5? What's number 5 for you?
Yeah, my number 5 is the John Q podcast. I really like it.
Who is John Q?
John Q's he's like a paddle guy. He does like paddle reviews, but they kind of make it into this long form podcast. I'm a big paddle nerd and like equipment nerd. And so it's John Q and Eddie, his friend Eddie.
Do they do tests and stuff?
They do tests, yeah. So he's one of those guys. They actually do like the static weight, the twist weight, swing weight. But then they also do like power in miles per hour. So I'm pretty sure they get that. Like they actually take a radar gun, like what you would use in baseball, serve the ball as hard as they can, basically with every paddle. There's some human invariance in there, of course. What ball are they using? What's the temperature outside? There's variables. But in general, they can give you an idea. Right. Then they have pop, which is actually the miles per hour, like on your volleys, basically, from the non-volley zone. So they're considering that pop.
So this is the nerd podcast.
This is the nerd podcast, yeah, 100%.
If you just want to dive in, that would be what would put me to sleep on my drive,
But they can even get the spin, right? So, I mean, they have, and every paddle, there's so many paddles coming out, it's like I don't want to research them all. I can just watch, and you don't have to watch the whole thing, of course. Like, they have it time-stamped where you can say, oh, I want to know about this paddle, or I want to know about this paddle. He also had an episode with Sarah Carpenter, who is the lead data scientist at Duper, and she kind of explained some of the new Duper algorithm, which I'm not very happy with, but that's okay. She explained it. Makes sense to her. I'm sure in science terms it makes sense. But for me, it doesn't.
Well, this is boring me to death just hearing about it.
It wouldn't be your kind of thing, but yeah.
If you're listening right now or watching, however you see our podcast or whatever, hang on to the end or either fast forward through this stuff.
Yeah, you could
because the last two are going to be good when we get there. All right,
the last two are great. But
so
that's my
John
5,
Q, number 5.
Yeah,
all right.
I love.
It's your thing. I shouldn't be negative. It's your thing.
Hey, it's not for everybody.
Okay.
What's your number 5?
My number 5, I don't know if it's coming back or not because they had an episode about a month ago and it was sort of like saying they may not be doing it anymore, but that would be Pickleball is Life with Jill Braverman and her wife. They just do a really thing. I mean, Jill used to be head of Duper at one point. She big USTA background. She had a lot of insight into all the PPA stuff. She's never been afraid to go out there and criticize PPA and drop some stuff. She was trying to do that player collective at one time, talk player contracts. So I guess I just like all that controversy and stuff.
Well, I'll tell you, Jilly B, I think that's her name on Instagram, Jilly B PB or something.
Yeah, Jilly B.
She, she'll stir it up.
She does stir it up,
Good for her, She's not, like you said, she's not scared. So.
Yeah, brought a lot of attention to the game. So that would be I just think that would be my number 5.
All right. So let's get on to number 4. My number 4, again, for some people, it's going to be kind of boring. I actually don't. I have to assume you can call it a podcast. It's a little shorter. I like the James Ignatowicz Show, and that's right now on Selkirk TV. And, of course, that is James Ignatowicz. But me, everyone's world favorite 4-4. I would like to one day be everyone's favorite, like 4-7 or 4-8 or something. And he does. He has a lot of good, short, tactical breakdowns. Sometimes it's like why you should hit this shot or should you use power paddles? Should the whole world use power paddles? And just all sorts of like really good informational, strategic.
A little bit better reputation than 4-0 to pro, so maybe you should go to Ignatowicz for his stuff.
I would say it's a lot better.
Yeah,
it's a lot better. He handled his heartbreak.
Yeah, I like the Ignatowicz one. That probably would have been a near miss if I didn't know it was going to be on your list. So I think that's a solid number 4 choice for you.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, it just makes you think about the game in a different way too. I mean, especially from his mind, he's So right now he's a little bit, out of the picture sometimes, but he's still one of the best players in the world.
Smart guy, Vanderbilt guy, right?
Very smart guy, yeah.
Yeah.
So, he's going through his heartbreak. Once he gets through it, he'll be back.
I'm sure there's a long line at the door there.
Yeah, I bet there is.
Yeah.
All right, you're number 4 then?
It's going to feel like a homer pick, everybody, for me, but I mean, and this is one that's sort of gone under some changes, but I think it's now back out sort of live on Pickleball TV. The McGuffin show. A lot of, because of, how much Tyson played a role in my journey, not just pickleball, but health and life, and change that. I mean, it's just, I love listening to him. I think it's cool when him and Meg get on there. They do a good mix between, he'll talk about some of the craziness on the tour. They'll talk about some family stuff. I also think Tyson's educational and teaching content is really good.
Yep.
Out there. I think, he's not on the court teaching much anymore, but I think those of us that were lucky enough when he was out there doing his clinics, that was just a blessing to get to attend his clinics. I think a lot of what other people are teaching is all stuff that, is passed down from him. So the McGuffin show would be my number 4.
Yeah, always a good pick. He does the boiler room breakdowns where he kind of breaks down some of his points. That's always good information, right? At one point was known as the most interesting man of all sports, so you'd assume he's a pretty good podcast, right? Yeah,
and he might even should be higher on my list, but yeah, he's number 4 today.
All right, so let's get on to number 3. My number 3. If you didn't like my first one, my number 5, skip. Give me 45 seconds because it's Pickleball Studio, which is like a better version of John Q. It is Chris Olsen and his brother Isaac. They're both kind of they're our level.
They talk about their duper every week and stuff.
They talk about their duper every week. They
just like we do.
But they talk about paddles. They'll talk about new shoes that came out. They'll give you some of the pro stuff, and they just built a court in their backyard, and so they kind of documented how that happened or whatever. And now they go out back and test their paddles. Same thing though. I mean, they do.
Are we copying their podcast? Is that what we're trying to? So.
I wish. That's a great part. If you listen,
I was thinking build a court in the backyard.
Build a court in the backyard. Let's get every paddle, and let's say which one's the best. I just love it.
But they cover a lot of amateur stuff too, right?
Cover a lot of amateur stuff. Yeah, I mean, especially with their own things, and they play a lot of tournaments. And they do fun stuff too. They did an episode. It was actually Chris and another guy. It wasn't his brother, but they did kind of like build your the world's best pickleball player. It's like Ben John's mind and Jack Sock's forehand and. Christian Alshon's athleticism, right? So that's pretty cool. And they also had the YOLO product manager on.
If you built your own pickleball player, what's the number 1 weapon that you would take?
The number 1
or number 1 feature. You could pick one attribute that you can take from anybody that you're starting to build your pickleball.
It has to be Ben John's mind, doesn't it? I mean, he doesn't have the biggest He doesn't have the best of any shot, does he? But he's the best player in the world. So it has to be in his mind. It has to be. I think you got to go first with Ben John's mind. What about you?
I don't know. It's something with Anna Lee. I don't know if it's that two-handed backhand and that power. I mean,
just her competitiveness, maybe.
Or her fire or something like that.
Yeah.
We'll have to dive in that later. That's a fascinating question.
It's a good, right?
Yeah.
It's really good. And then they had the YOLO product manager on, as I was saying, right after the Gen 3 debacle. So that was really cool to see. So, my number 3 Pickleball Studio, Chris Olsen.
So that's interesting.
Kind of the first one I ever watched, too. So.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of people would agree with you, and I think I left that one off my list. Maybe that was a mistake, but I just haven't listened to it, so I didn't want to put something on there that I couldn't vouch for that much. But I was surprised it's not on your list because I know your top 2 is what happened to KOTC, King of the Court. Are you not?
No, I'm not a Tyler Loom guy.
Well, I mean, how about Jimmy Miller?
Yeah, I mean, makes up for it, but for me, Tyler Loom's just a little like, doesn't strike me as a real podcast guy.
Well, I think if we would have done this podcast and we're talking about the top 5 podcasts 2 months ago, they might have been number 1 maybe. But now, for me, their ads have gotten ridiculous. It's just, I mean, it's an hour and 30-minute podcast with 35 minutes of, I mean, hey, shout out to CD and Nets, Vulcan. I know all your sponsors, so I guess that's good. You got to pay the bills, so that's good. But so all the other thing is, Jimmy was a little on the edge when he started out. He was the one-on-one. Some of the same kind of stuff that we've gotten into, and we're going to try to stay away from because we're going to try to be more of a good, wholesome podcast. Yes. But he would go out on the edge, but then he became, talked his way into being the GM of the whatever team he's the GM for. Sort of got in the PPA dollars or whatever, and I think he just balled out and sold to them. He's no longer really that controversial anymore.
Yeah, I guess you can't be in that position though, can you? I mean, well, you can be, you should be, but he's not.
So, but now it's just, but if I just want to hear pro stuff, pro predictions, who's playing with who, maybe some inside, I think that may be some of my go-to for just the pro podcast. But but as I'm thinking about that, as I'm talking about all the different things I like, what I'm really curious about, Corin, is what do people, we have our idea with this, but what do people that, the 7 people that are watching us, what do they want to hear?
Well, I want to say it's not just 7, it's 107. But that's a good question. And for you 107 of you listening, let us know what you want to hear about. We'd love to see it down in the comments.
Pro, amateur, paddle reviews.
You want us to spark up some drama? Do you want some of our local players to come in and have some interviews with them and, their kind of thing? Who knows? So
those have been some of my favorite. If you haven't heard that episode with Jada Minifield, to go back, or Chase Mason, go back and listen to those.
They're so well spoken too.
Yeah, that was just good stuff.
Well spoken.
And then, the pro interview, with Donald Young, that was good too. I think, we were the ones that weren't ready for that yet because that was our first thing. I think when we got some other pros that are going to be coming on soon, so I think it'll be a lot different as we evolve. But I guess we're getting down to our final 2, right?
Yeah, down to the final 2. We've had a lot of good picks so far. I think there's been a lot of good podcasts. But our top 2 were the same, and it was interesting. But then when you really think about it, I think it makes the most sense. So for me, number 2, and I think actually probably most people's number 1, I would have to assume, is Pickleball with Zane and Thomas. Zane Navratil.
And I think that's only because most people don't know about the number 1 yet.
Yeah, well, I agree. Because number 1, I think, is pretty clearly number 1. Yeah. I think they're doing something totally different in a way better way. But with Zane, and it's funny with me because when I first started playing pickleball, I guess it was probably 21, maybe it's 2021, somewhere around there. And I started following pros. I didn't like Zane. I didn't want to. I saw him at an APP tournament down in Griffin, Georgia, and I was like, that guy, it's tan, handsome, so, that guy. But then as I started watching,
Dayton, Miss Wisconsin at that time, I think.
Yeah.
Now married to her.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like the more I watch him, that's a likable guy, man. Zane Navratil is the guy. Like when it comes to professional pickleball, that's the guy you want to hang out with, I think. Well, other than Ryan Sherry.
I've heard that's fun. Yeah. Well, I had a little different version. So the first time I heard about Zane was from a friend of mine, Joe Pulliam, who unfortunately is no longer with us, but it was one of our big players in our area. And Joe was like, I have this up-and-coming young player staying at my house, staying at my house, while he's in town playing the PPA, and he's working for Deloitte. He's getting ready to quit his job and do pickleball full time, and he's just him and his girlfriend. They're just so smart and so funny, and they're just the nicest people you ever meet. I tell you, he's going to be successful. And Joe was Zane's number 1 fan, and the whole way through. Joe was always Zane's fan, and I just knew if Joe liked him that I probably liked him. And then Joe even set that up. We had Zane come and did a clinic at Oregon Park, our 6 courts. We had a Zane Navratil clinic, 6 courts and no bathrooms, out there. He came into town and did a clinic for everybody. And then he was just awesome as a coach too. We've had some pretty good coaches over at Oregon Park. We've had, Tyson McGuffin, Zane Navratil, Sarah Ansberry,
Corin Duginski.
Yeah. Back in the day, we've had some good stuff over there. But I think a lot of that humor and likability, it just comes through on his podcast. Thomas, and I guess that's, there's some competition with the dink, and then that other thing that we're going to talk about in a second, so it's two. But, they've had some good guests on there too. They usually hit on the pro stuff a lot, so you get a little bit of pro, you'll get a little bit of PPA drama or whatever. I'm scared that just like how Jimmy sold out, now Zane's like president of the PPA player committee or whatever. So, is he going to sort of go the company line now too?
Hopefully not, because he'll stir the pot too.
Well, he's always pushed the limit by asking good, fair questions,
Right.
So
100%. He came out when Colin Johns did the thing, and he kind of responded to Colin Johns' whole letter of the MLP or whatever.
Oh, I'd forgotten about Collins. Like, man, Colin. I mean, there's a lot of history there. But no, you're right. I mean, Zane, when Colin had his letter, when there was the contract disputes, allegations of whether associations were paying their players or not. He's always just been truthful, I think, and has always sort of stood his ground. So I like that, but it's not my number one.
Not number one. Number one, and it's so obvious. I mean, if you haven't, click off of this, go watch one of those when you have time. And it's maybe even one of the newest ones, pickleballers.
Yeah, it's the number one. I mean, got to give Jared Paul credit.
Oh man, that guy knows what he's doing, doesn't he?
Well, he is a lot better social media entrepreneur, podcast episode interviewer than he is MLP coach, because he sucks as an MLP coach. But I think, in that finals, when you talked about because his team, the Nashville Chefs, I guess, what was it, Frisco Pandas that they balled or came in control of, or however that worked. Yeah. I mean, the guy's a genius. I mean, with him, Jason Aspis, that whole crowd with the kitchen that started the kitchen, Dane, don't want to leave Dane out because I think he might be the smartest guy in the room that sits quietly in the background. But, they're just so smart with everything they do. But when the Las Vegas Night Owls play the Nashville Chefs, any other sport that we would be looking at, when they do that, they're matching up how the teams, compare each other. You always got coaching, right?
Right.
And so you had Steve Deacon against Jared Paul. I mean, that was the biggest mismatch in that thing.
Like a real player versus...
Yeah, and I guess Jared had to stand out on the court the whole time or something because he was trying to promote the kitchen stuff or whatever, with his Paul background or whatever. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm just giving him a hard time. I mean, Jared's been on our podcast before. He was on with me and Peter. He's just got a fascinating story with what he's such a cool guy to learn his story, how he was in the music industry, to talk to just about what he likes with music. I mean, the office he's built out there in Austin, where he's got a pickleball court, music, and how he's just a fascinating person. And what I found about the podcast is that he's got this curiosity that he brings on really cool guests. The
best guests.
I mean, what are some of name them.
Yeah, so he first and foremost, he brought on the number one football player of all time, Drew Brees, Who Dat Nation. Love you, Drew. He's had Drew Brees. He had top players, ALW, Paris Todd, Thomas Wilson. Thomas Wilson, super interesting story himself.
Yeah, with his health stuff he battled through. That's great.
Yeah, he had James Valentine from Maroon 5, the lead guitarist from Maroon 5, obviously one of the biggest bands in the world. And the creator of Entourage. I mean, he's had so many good guests. And all the interviews, all the podcasts.
Great
really good
questions.
Great questions. See, that guy he really knows how to lead it.
Got Roscoe Bellamy on there with him, too.
Roscoe Bellamy, yeah. I love Roscoe Bellamy. He's awesome, too. And, man, I mean, he asked the questions that need to be asked, He had Paris Todd on and got her open up a little bit about the breakup with Hunter, and she did, and then Hunter came on. And let me tell you, got to be the most respectful public breakup of all time, the way they spoke about each other. I think they're still in love. I in the back of my head, I'm still rooting for them.
You think they may come back together?
I hope so.
Does it make it harder after you've had it all out there in the open, though, and everybody knows it?
Nah, pride aside, love is love, man.
Okay.
Well, but Pickleballers has me hopeful, because they were just so respectful. And then, Drew Brees is on there talking about mindset just for sports in general, and then also how that translates over to pickleball, and just really the way they got it put together, their production. Roscoe Bellamy, a great addition. I mean, he's a really good pro pickleball player. really well spoken. So,
well, it's just the podcast is amazing, but I mean, it'd be good, just great. Jared's story. I remember him reaching out to me back in 2020, 21 or something, whatever. It's like, hey, will you like my Atlanta Facebook page with the kitchen or whatever? And, how he's taken that and built the largest, online presence in pickleball, has turned it into, owning, and being involved with the MLP team, their partnership with the PPA. I mean, it's just amazing what he's done. I mean, I think everybody in the pickleball space, it's the same thing I say about Connor Pardo. Connor gets a lot of crap from people too, but, we're all sort of riding some of the coattails and benefiting from the success that these people did. If whether you like PPA or MLP, our amateur tournaments wouldn't be that big without it. And we got some, we still got this thing up here behind me today.
Yeah, we got the Dream Ticket. So for those of you watching, you might see this big ticket behind Mark. This is the Dream Ticket for the National Championship for the minor league pickleball. Actually has nothing to do with the pros other than the formatting. It's not like AA baseball or anything like that. It's for us amateurs. Minor league pickleball, we got September 13th in Atlanta. That's the Georgia State Championships at Dill-Dinkers. And then we also have September 27th at Revolve in Cleveland, Tennessee. And both of those are qualifiers. So if you win, you get one of these big old dream tickets and you get to go to Nationals. And funny thing about Nationals, there is a $100,000 prize pool for the win. You don't win $100,000, but
it'll be split.
$100,000 will be split between the amateur, every division.
All the amateur divisions.
Yep, all the amateur divisions.
4 players per team.
Yes.
SouthernPickleball.com to sign up. Great
Right
hat you're wearing. I got one similar.
Let's go.
Let's go pickleball.
We didn't even plan this, I promise.
Yeah, Peachtree City, Georgia. That's where because we also run the PPA Amateur State Championship Series. And so we'll be there on October 12th through 14th.
Yep.
I think we already got almost 300 players signed up, so get signed up quick for that. But anyway, I mean, I just don't know all that we're doing, wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for stuff. And when I saw that, Jared was coming out with a podcast, I was like, well, shit, we're not going to be the number one podcast anymore. So, but I'll be more than happy to be, we can be the number 15 podcast. I don't care. But they do a great job. Zane does a great job. Tyson does a great job. So
all those guys, yeah. And for those of you, maybe you're not familiar with the kitchen, I guarantee you are. If you've seen anything on Facebook or Instagram, pickleball related, it's probably from the kitchen. I mean, they are literally one of the biggest. Real quick, we only have a few more minutes, but I do want to know, in your opinion, what makes a really good podcast in the pickleball space?
I think that's changed. For me, so I think I've gone through stages. I mean, one was initially I wanted some instruction or whatever, so stuff like the 4.0 to Pro or the JMX Notowich, and I was just trying to figure out how to get a little better. But I just don't know how much podcast can provide that. I think some of Tyson's short stuff and everything is probably where I went to a lot. And then I sort of got fascinated with some of the pro stuff initially. And so then that's where King of the Court and all that, landed. But now I think for me, what really, what makes it for me is hearing the people, sort of the people I like hearing the stories of the people that are involved in pickleball.
Yep.
And that's like all the ones you're talking about pickleballers, like, Drew Brees, he plays pickleball. He runs a big tournament in New Orleans. He's part owner of a team. He owns facilities that have pickleball and he's with the Pickler. So all these connections, has he had Gary Vee on his show yet?
I don't think so. That's a great person to have. Gary Vee's super into it. Obviously, Gary Vee, mega successful entrepreneur, this huge Instagram presence.
Part owner of the Columbus Sliders, right?
Fives. He's the
Fives. Oh yeah, lost in the finals, second year in a row. Sorry, Gary. Didn't mean to bring that up. But yeah, he would be great. To be on there too, so I don't know. I mean, what for you? What's yours? Is it all that technical stuff, or what do you?
Yeah, I like all the tech stuff, but I agree with you. I mean, I think pickleballers has kind of changed it and the way that they're going about it. It's more about pickleball stories, and it's like it does what other sports fail to do a lot of times, which is actually you get to know the players, right, on a more intimate level. It feels so often like in professional sports you don't get to know the players.
So you want to know the players on a more intimate level. So we
cut that.
So we
Cut that out. This is not for. Never mind.
So, well, I was just wondering. I was just sort of going. I guess I do like some of the gossip sometimes.
Gossip's
I guess that's
good.
bad.
Listen, gossip's always good. We have our own fair share of gossip when we
Yeah.
get it. We only when we get it firsthand. We don't just gossip, but we have it firsthand.
Yeah, and I don't think I really even care. Some of the stuff I don't care about who's dating who or who's sleeping with who or whatever. But I mean, when some of the partner breakups because they're unhappy with each, and it's or they're why are they switching? I'd like to hear some of that stuff.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. And some of those podcasts had they had Ben and Colin on. I think it was actually Zane after the breakup. Yeah, Colin on after the breakup. Right?
Yeah, I mean when your brother drops you,
different, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep. But you guys let us know what your favorite podcast is down in the comments below. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know also what you want us to talk about. We're open, we're ready, and we appreciate all 100. Well, if we're talking about Mark, we appreciate all 7 of you. So thank you guys all, and we'll see you all next week.